Well, hi, and welcome. Gather round, and let me regale you with a tale of times long past. Back in the ancient and forgotten times of 2016, the film Sadako Vs Kayako was released in Japan. It was a noble yet unsurprisingly bizarre effort on the part of the Japanese of doing a Freddy vs. Jason style crossover between their two horror franchises, Ringu and Ju-on, or as they're so notably known in America, The Ring and The Grudge. In a nutshell, the film follows the events of Japanese Schoolgirl 1 and Japanese Schoolgirl 2. Schoolgirl 1 watches the cursed ring tape, while Schoolgirl 2 goes into the Grudge house. After a couple of failed attempts at fixing it, they ultimately seek help from Cool Psychic Guy, and Cool Psychic Guy comes up with the most unbelievably good idea that could ever be conceived by a human being. In stereotypical cool Japanese guy style, he tells the two girls that they both need to go watch the ring tape inside of the Grudge house. This will make it so that Kayako and Sadako will fight each other over who gets to kill them, and with just the right pinch of pixie dust, they'll destroy each other in the process. As I'm sure you can imagine, this goes really great. We get our creepy ghost fight scene, and the two end up combining together into this weird as hell tentacle monster. Because it's Japan, before turning into a ring grudge hybrid thing that I guess is worse than their normal versions of each other. So with all that being said, I'd like you to keep in mind that had today's picture done just a little bit better at the box office, we could have gotten an American remake of that. And it would have been one of the most hilarious movies ever made. The things we'll never know we lost, you know? Well, hello and welcome. I've returned once again to share with you all another really good movie that everyone thought was really great. As an added bonus, it's a Paramount movie, so we get to make fun of them some more. But all that aside, I'm joined once again by my crew of Platinum Okami, Gotmittens, Grimpedia, and TCAP, and also quite happy to be welcoming one Rickaroo to the movie Rings. But enough intro, we do have much to talk about, so let's dive right in.
When are we gonna watch a good movie?
Oh, probably never. As you may or may not know, Rings is the third installment of the American The Ring franchise, originally derived from the Japanese films, which are derived from a series of Japanese horror novels. And being as close as you can get in Hollywood to being a unique idea, it's pretty safe to say that good old Samara set the foundation for the countless other American Japanese horror remakes that followed it. And I do have to say, for how bad it can really get sometimes, especially in recent years, the genre probably is one of the more consistently done in terms of the being scary department. Being the bunch of weirdos they are, the Japanese tapping into supernatural horror has facilitated a lot of fairly unnerving stuff, especially when you compare it to the average American equivalent.
Mom.
So, obviously, once Hollywood saw Ringu and Ju-on, they immediately went, "Whoa, that makes money," and immediately released their own versions of the same movie, in some cases even bringing on the same directors as the original. The rest is obviously history. The Japanese horror remake genre became quite the gimmick for a little bit, and we were treated to such gems as One Missed Call, Dark Water, and The Eye. However, like with most gimmicks, the original remained the most popular and arguably the best made. In its time, The Ring was heralded as the spookiest of movies, and many a teenage girl undoubtedly removed countless TVs from their bedrooms because of it. Samara, the 7 Days Death Ghost, was about 2 steps away from becoming about as well known and popular as Jason and Mike Myers. However, the fad died out pretty abruptly, and she's kind of remained those 2 steps away ever since. Needless to say, that didn't stop our favorite production company, and while the production issues on this film weren't nearly as hilarious as Slender Man's, the strain certainly shines through on the final product, providing us with that oh-so-familiar routine of obviously scrapped character development points and setups that they left in the film for some reason but never come up again. Weirdly enough, apparently the characters in the intro have names, although they're never stated to us in the film, nor do they actually matter in any way at all. In fact, this entire opening sequence is utterly useless to the movie as a whole. It's fair enough, though. The names are more than likely for the sake of simplicity in the script. It's just one of those things that gives me a bit of a chuckle, since this is from the same production company that made a movie with one of its supporting characters called Man on Island.
So this is just a dumb world.
Yes. All that aside, though, we're introduced to Carter and Faith, 2 flight passengers that are dealing with some rather shaky turbulence. Faith extends the hand of making general flirtatious small talk, and thus, being a generic horror movie intro character, Carter responds by being insane at her.
Sometimes it's good to talk.
You ever hear about the videotape that kills you after you watch it?
No, shut up. I was flirting with you. Fuck off, you creep.
Oh my.
What an opener!
Have you ever
Wow.
heard of the
That's a conversation starter.
Vegas the Wise? Ridiculous.
Did you ever hear the
Have
tragedy
you ever-
of the videotape that kills you?
I would immediately be like, okay, you know what, bro? Never mind. I'm gonna go talk to the other person on the other side of me.
All I gotta do is make it to the next 5 minutes.
Of course, obviously, because everyone who watches this tape always knows the exact time that they watched it, so that they can look at the clock and be scared when the 7 days is almost up. Tell me, Carter, since you've had a week to think about how to solve this, what exactly have you been doing this whole time? I mean, in the same amount of time, Rachel from the first movie traveled to an island and nearly learned Samara's entire backstory before getting back to the cabins where she initially found the tape and then recovered her body from the well underneath it. She saved herself on accident because she made a copy of the tape for Noah while they were both rigorously studying it, and Aiden accidentally watched it.
Oh, so you can. I was unaware that you actually like fully pawn it off on other people.
Yes.
That's fucking hilarious. Later, idiots.
The fact that you know that it's the videotape that kills you indicates that you've done some level of research on it, doubled with the fact that you say this.
And this girl says, I'm gonna die in 7 days.
Yeah, she doesn't say that. She doesn't say anything about death at all, actually. All she says is... And while, yes, it can be inferred what she means, you can't exactly know for sure until that timeline is up, unless you've spent literally any amount of time looking into it. And if you've spent literally any amount of time looking into it, how have you not figured out that it's just a crappy chain letter? How did you not figure that out from the fact that it was given to you by someone else who watched it? Did you just spend this whole week casually watching Samara tormenting you while thinking to yourself, figure it out tomorrow? It's not like it would be that hard to find somebody to watch it for you. If nothing else, the only obstacle you'd really have to overcome is the fact that it's on a VHS tape, and there are currently people alive that don't even know what that is. Predictably, as a normal person would, Faith takes this as, oh, you're insane, good to know. And as blood starts dripping out of his nose and he runs off to the bathroom, she turns to her other friend Kelly to inform her of the situation. Interestingly, the movie portrays it as if she's just now sitting back down to give the indication that she missed most of this conversation. This is all well and good until you realize that she's at a window seat, and all she did was just lean back. I guess she was just leaning forward and holding her ears tightly shut during the entire time that these two were talking.
I was telling you about a movie that's supposed to kill you.
The music. What movie?
Oh, wow, you've seen the video too, huh? How exponentially coincidental. Like I said, this is taking place in the 2015 to 2017 range. As far as we know, the video only exists on a few VHS tapes at this point. By Carter's own admission, the only reason he saw it is because he got one of them from the girl he met. I think it kind of goes without saying, but because of this, the 7 days death curse isn't exactly as accessible as it used to be. In fact, one could even argue that it could almost be impossible to get cursed by this thing past 2000 and 2008. The fact that Carter was cursed by it is in and of itself a goddamn miracle and a half. I can only imagine Samara's childlike glee when she realized that she actually got to do something again for the first time in 10 years. I feel like most normal people, if anybody ever came up to them and handed them an old beat-up VHS while telling them they had to watch it as soon as possible, their response would probably be something along the lines of, okay, give me about 19 years to find a VCR and I'll see what I can do. But apparently not Carter. He went that extra mile and scoured all his pawn shops and eBay listings until he found the one that didn't cannibalize itself as soon as he stuck the tape in. And I guess the same goes for Kelly here. Given, sure, it's not impossible, and sure, she could have watched it way back in the when VHSs weren't 4 levels of obsolete. But goddamn, what an insane coincidence that these two people who have both seen this generally unknown videotape sat next to each other on a plane at the exact moment that this moron was about to be done with his week-long grace period.
Did you make a copy of it? Did you make a copy of the tape?
Of course not, ma'am. I am but a lowly plot device. I spent my week doing basically nothing after I received just enough information to give the proper amount of exposition to people who may have forgotten what Samara does since we last saw her in 2005. Now that you've contributed the bit that I left out, we are officially unnecessary to the narrative and can appropriately perish.
Traffic control, this is Flight 77. We have some signal interference.
Are you gonna literally crash a fucking plane?
Apparently.
Oh, good thing that it's gonna be in here because they're gonna crash and it's gonna die because nothing connects to airplane Wi-Fi.
Yeah. The plane starts taking a nosedive for some reason. The pilots don't react to it, while everyone else on the plane starts panicking before it actually does.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. There is no cause for alarm. Just
We are just gonna dive bomb into the city.
This is part of the on-flight entertainment.
We get our little money shot of Samara crawling out of a monitor in the cockpit.
It doesn't look great.
No, it looked amazing. It was perfect.
I like the ring. I like the ring part. Just do that. Everything else was.
Oh.
When did this movie come out?
17.
That's not acceptable.
Yeah.
I was gonna be very forgiving.
And that's it. Yeah. The plane crashes and everyone dies. So yeah. Not really sure how to take that. This guy just got everyone on this plane killed. Good job, Carter. Imagine being killed by Samara when you haven't even been cursed by her, because some moron who was decided to be on an airplane at the same time you were.
He decided to take everybody with him.
Yeah. What a dick.
He's like, I got 5 minutes left. I better board this plane.
I better make sure I'm on a plane exactly 7 days from now to kill all these people and their families.
I guess that's just how the curse works. It doesn't just specifically kill you; it just kills everyone else within your vicinity.
But all that aside, what exactly was the point of all of that? I mean, other than the obvious answer of we wanted to one-up the opening scene from the first movie. Sure, man, we live in the timeline of people like that, so do it again. But you do realize that the opening of the first Ring movie had direct influence over the events of the film, right? The whole point was that the girl that died at the beginning was related to the main character, and the only reason she pursued the tape in the first place was to find out how she died. It was the entire initial driving motivation for her character that led her to Samara in the first place. Not only that, but there was even a logical explanation on how she came across the tape to begin with, which gave Rachel even more of a mystery to look into. What's more, Katie wouldn't even have any possibility of knowing that copying the tape would save her, as the movie seems to imply that she was Samara's first victim. Like I said, Rachel only found out by accident, but after that, the copies of the tape undoubtedly started getting made, beginning with the one that saved Aiden and whoever they gave that to. And when was this happening exactly? 2002? Okay, so just a few years before creepypastas started becoming stupidly popular. Meaning that if this curse has been slowly propagating all this time, even if it's only reaching an incredibly small amount of people, the likelihood that some moron is inevitably going to make a thread talking about it is exponentially high, if not guaranteed. So obviously, the longer that the tape's around and the more copies of it that start to pop up, it's reasonable to say that by 2015, it would be pretty common knowledge among that little community of what you have to do to not die. And then we have Carter, Mr. Zero Background didn't exist before the events of the movie Carter, who's only here to say to us, oh yeah, I saw the video. Oh, how'd you see it? A girl I met. Uh-huh. So what have you been doing about it this whole time? You know. So, yeah. This doesn't exactly work the same way as it did in 2002, guys. But to get myself back on the point, Katie's death had a very significant and ever-present purpose in the film, and its execution made sense. What do you suppose is the significance of Rings' opening? Do you suppose Carter even comes up again? At all? Well, fear not, because he actually does. Once. In the very next scene. We cut to a 2 years later card where we're introduced to two new characters. We have Sky and we have Gabriel. I don't think it really needs to be said, but we aren't going to be calling him Gabriel. And the VCR sat there forever because nobody knew what it was. Nothing ever came of it.
Wait, what is that? I don't know. Oh my god, it's Leonard!
He's broody Leonard.
Yeah, this is what happens when he doesn't have Sheldon to make his life interesting and funny.
Leonard approaches Sky as she's examining a VCR for sale at a flea market. In the middle of their flirting, he offers her this as a statement for its origins.
Turns out that he got all this stuff from a family whose son died in a plane crash a couple years back.
And there we go. Carter's never brought up again. His existence was meaningless. His life's purpose was to locate the ancient technology needed for the story's premise. So the main characters didn't need to do it. So no need to spend any more time on his irrelevant life. We have new people to gawk at now. However, I will give the movie a point since it pretty accurately portrays that the only people who would get cursed by Samara right now would be the hipster college professors that think that they're cool for buying a VCR in 2017.
Who the fuck collects VCRs? Typewriters, I get.
Yeah.
Even a laser disc, I could understand.
Right.
Just for but it's a fucking VCR. You like collecting DVD players.
But now we have opening number 2 down, so we can finally be introduced to our main characters. And how lovely, we're only about 20 minutes into the video. I'm sure we'll be done here in no time. We're introduced to Julia and Holt, our stereotypes for today's picture. As per the norm for these reviews, we've got some real personality titans before us, characterized so accurately through the film as really nice girl who regularly does nice things for people, and handsome boyfriend guy who doesn't really have any characteristics beyond that. Julia loves Holt, and Holt loves Julia. What more could you ask for in a character, really?
Hey, babe, have you heard about this video?
You know, I love you so much. I would hate it if one of us died in the next 7 days.
Our opener shows Holt telling Julia about the story of Orpheus, the Greek legend of the guy who lost his wife to the depths of the underworld because he couldn't follow simple directions properly. Specifically, the story goes that after losing his wife to a snake bite, Orpheus travels to the underworld where he convinces Hades to give him a chance to bring her back to life. The god tells him that he will do so on the condition that Orpheus leads her to the upper world without looking back at her beforehand. Orpheus, however, is not an intelligent man, and he immediately fails this at the last second that it matters, looking back at Eurydice before she takes the last step, causing her to vanish forever.
It's like the most romantic story in the history of stories.
I mean, I guess, man. I'll give you that the genre has never exactly been my forte, but I think even just Romeo and Juliet kind of beats it out in terms of being romantic. On the one hand, you have two people who died together because of their undying and forbidden love, and on the other hand, you have...
I don't hear, oh god. Turns around and loses her. That's what happened. That's the story of Orpheus.
Yeah.
It's sad, but it's also like, Way to go, dipshit. You had it.
And as Hades is absorbing her into the nether, she just looks at it, is like, what the hell, man? Why?
Yeah, why'd you do that?
So I needed to make sure you were there.
Thanks.
But that's all aside from the point, though. Yes, I know I oversimplified the story. Yes, I know I left parts of it out. At least the parts I mentioned I actually got right.
He tracks her down. He finds her. And the devil's gonna let her go.
What? The devil? It'd be Hades, you fucking idiot. You don't know the story at all. You're a fucking idiot, whoever you are.
But we're not here to review Greek mythology. We're here to make fun of Paramount. So why exactly are you telling your girlfriend about this, my dude?
I relate to the guy. I can't imagine not looking back at you.
Right. So you're basically telling her that you'd be an idiot and lose her to the depths of hell the first time the opportunity presented itself. That's your idea of a romantic conversation with your girlfriend. Interesting. I think I'm already forming a rather accurate conclusion on your thought processes.
I can't imagine not looking back at you.
Yeah, and that is why you fail as a man. Because that's a goddamn metaphor. And that means that, oh, I would fail because, like, it's like,
man,
it's a key, vital part of being a man in a relationship, wrapped up in a metaphor. I would fail. Like, cool. Cool, dummy. I bet you would.
I would lose you to the demons of hell, baby.
Yeah. The priestesses of Isis would tempt you and you would die.
But narratively speaking, my question remains. This is obviously setting something up. The writers went to the trouble of Googling the story of Orpheus. So surely there's an upcoming payoff or overarching theme that we can look forward to with that, right? Surprise! This is completely useless to the narrative. It comes up again once in a scene that isn't appropriate for, but other than that, we never hear about it again. The initial thought that occurs with this situation is, surely this means we have another Slender Man on our hands. Perhaps the story intended for this to be significant in some fashion, and was inevitably sliced away through the horrors of studio interference. Well, not really, no. At least not from what I can tell. There is a deleted scene where it comes up again. We'll talk about it later. It also contributes nothing. But other than that, I haven't been able to find anything to even indicate that they were planning on using Orpheus at all beyond this scene. If nothing else, it kind of just comes across like Holt just heard the story for the first time recently and decided he was going to try and impress Julia by showing her that he knows about it.
Because my boyfriend's leaving for college and I promised I'd help him pack.
Thank you. Yeah, slip that in real smoothly, Julia. Exposition that characters already know saves the day once more. Why are you packing for college the morning that you're leaving, Holt? Feel like you'd want to do that a little bit earlier, but that's just me. But now you can amplify all of the general stresses of packing onto not only yourself, but your girlfriend as well, as you desperately try to grab everything that you can think of in the last few minutes that you have to get it done. You'll fit into college life pretty well, I think. My apologies, Dad. My alarm clock was set for exactly 7:07 for some stupid-ass reason. Almost seems like it would be for the sake of a thematic instance that I would be completely unaware of at this point surrounding the number 7. Wonder what that could possibly be. Anyway, I put off packing until then because I was busy talking about Greek mythology with my girlfriend.
Don't forget to bring your box with a Rubik's Cube in it.
Don't forget the VCR.
Yeah, this dude looks like he does the Rubik's Cube on the reg.
He's an intellectual. He talks about English lit and he practices on his Rubik's Cube.
He does it at the same time whilst watching old movies on his VCR.
Oh well, all works out in the end though, and now we can have this scene where Holt says goodbye, followed by him telling Julia that she's doing the right thing because her mom really needs her right now. That's neat. Little character moment for Julia there. Something's going on in the old family life. Wonder what that could be. I'm sure we'll find out soon enough, though. After all, the movie wouldn't just give us another abandoned setup immediately after the first abandoned setup. Something that never comes up again. At all. Ever. That would just be silly. Can't wait to find out all about it.
Huh? What? What the fuck's she doing?
I don't know. She really, her mom, I guess. Okay. That never comes up again.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Somebody to tether to. Okay. Is she going to help like crazy Uncle Leonard or something? Not find VCRs. You taking you fucking.
So they have their overly mushy romantic goodbye, and Holt takes off for college.
Why is he taking his shirt? What are you, Jacob from Twilight? What are you taking his shirt off?
Son, can you put a shirt on, please?
Son, what the fuck is wrong with you? Did he like take off his shirt to give to her so she can cuddle and smell it? What the fuck?
Yes.
What a weird bitch.
What a strange relationship these two people have.
The following scene shows the two of them talking to each other over Skype, because I guess Microsoft gave the filmmakers more money than Discord did. While I'm sure you'd be riveted to hear these two trying to imitate a romance to one another, I think I'll be forgiven for skimming just a touch so we can get to the important bits. Yeah, I know, they're deeply in love, and it's beautiful or whatever. I'm sure I'll become passionately invested in the love story of this Ring movie. However, I'm afraid my patience can only take so much of, no, you hang up first, before I start feeling a certain twitch in my eyelids that indicate that I need to move along.
Cheating already.
Right.
Sorry. Call him that shit. Because weak, he looks back.
Yeah. Immediately looks back. The discussion of their undying passion is eventually interrupted by the appearance of Bro 1 and Bro 2, the latest pair of plot devices conjured up to usher our protagonists in the direction they need to go. Take a guess on how relevant they are after this scene.
Dude, these 40-year-old fucking college students. Jesus, they look older than me.
Right. Bro 1 informs Holt that it's his turn and he needs to go to the Sevens for Gabriel. After this, as well as a promise from Holt to call tomorrow, the call is abruptly ended, much to Julia's dismay.
I'll talk to you tomorrow. Don't talk to you tomorrow.
We're gonna go to a Rubik's Cube party.
Gotta hang out with my unusually diverse crew now.
Yeah.
We get a very short blink and you miss it scene after this to show the audience that Holt is mysteriously not getting back to her at all now, before immediately cutting to the inciting incident scene. Wow, a little bit of a jump in the pacing there, movie. Definitely something you could have held on a bit longer. From my perspective, you were just talking to him, and then we got about 4 seconds to process, my love has become unrequited. Surely you could have cut a little from the nightmare sequence here that means absolutely nothing, you know, like everything else that's popped up so far. Give us a little more time to come to the realization that he's not around, especially with how hard you've been pushing this romance for whatever reason. I would have thought that you'd really want to hammer in the point of, he hasn't talked to her in at least 4 days. Fair enough, though. I guess we have Ring stuff to finally get to. After we get our spooky sex dream, Julia is woken up to the horridly generic sound of the Skype ringtone. Upon answering it, she is confronted not by her lover, but by an unknown girl. People who haven't mentally checked out at this point may even recognize her as Sky from the opening scene. Sky opens the conversation by demanding to know where Holt is. Julia obviously expresses confusion at this, saying that she hasn't talked to him in a few days. Sky's response to this is essentially, I see you haven't decided to come looking for him yet. Allow me to hasten the process by dialing up the hysteria even more.
She's coming. There's no stopping her.
Uh-huh. Sky, you are fully aware that Julia has no idea what you're talking about. I guess you just wanted to add a little bit of mysteriousness to your meltdown. Almost like you're talking to an audience or something.
She's coming.
As she sits at Holt's computer, losing her mind at Julia, the call is suddenly cut off at the most appropriate point for it to do so.
There's no stopping her. Tell Holt that...
Well, I'm going back to bed.
That was fucking weird.
That was weird.
This, of course, gives Julia the well-needed push that she should probably look into that. Bravo, movie. You're really pulling out all the stops to make sure our characters get into this crap as quickly as possible, aren't you? Why the hell would Sky decide to call someone in Holt's Skype contacts to find him? What did you think that was going to accomplish? What's more, if you were doing that, why did you specifically decide to do it while you were clearly in the middle of a Samara insanity trip? Maybe wait until the webcam isn't a water faucet before you start calling random people? Also, you realize that Skype has message history, right? right? One that would show you very clearly that he hasn't interacted with Julia at all after the point that he watched the tape, a point that you would be aware of because there's a timer for it displayed in your little clubhouse thing. Ah, but Pendulum, you may be saying. Surely you're asking a little too much of this individual. Perhaps she just didn't look at the call history before she decided to be crazy at our daring young lass here. Perhaps, yes. But then we find out later that she knew he wasn't talking to her anyway.
Nothing's wrong. He's not avoiding you.
But I guess she didn't know when she called the night before.
I haven't spoken to him.
Don't lie to me! I'm not lying to you!
Also, why the hell are you looking for Holt anyway? What is he gonna do for you? You're both cursed by the same ghost. Neither of you can do anything for the other. I don't know what could possibly warrant this level of panic over this.
We're supposed to help each other through it.
Oh. Oh, so you just really needed your emotional support, dumbass, today. As you're sitting there visibly losing your mind to the hallucinations that you're experiencing, you opted not to do the thing that you already know gets the curse off of you and entirely solves the problem, and instead went with, I just really need someone to talk to right now. So let's see, how many assumptions and narrative band-aids do I need to throw onto this scene to not make it look stupid as all hell? Sky's looking for Holt because Holt has disappeared. Why is she looking for him? Don't think about it. Sky goes looking for him at his apartment and thinks to herself, I'm going to call his girlfriend over Skype. In the middle of the night. Perhaps she'll know something. After she lost connection to the call, she somehow finds out at an unspecified point afterwards, Holt hasn't actually talked to her. She doesn't know where he is either. Oh well, that was a waste of time. And there we go. Scene's fixed. All makes sense now. Good job, movie. Julia wasn't moving the plot along fast enough, so you had another character show up and tell her to hurry it up. Gets the job done pretty well, though, because after that we get our driving transition scene, and then Julia's just there. So we can start unraveling the mystery of Holt's disappearance. I'm sure you're quite excited to hear of its resolution. Beginning her investigative journey, Julia goes to Holt's apartment. Immediately, she finds Holt's phone abandoned under his bed with multiple missed calls from her as well as texts from Sky. Oh damn, we're already 15 minutes into this.
Dude, nothing's happening. This is so boring.
But it's spooky.
There's nothing scary about any of this.
But where's Holt, Tana?
Literally, I just couldn't care less about what he's...
It would seem that she's hit a bit of a dead end in this room for clues until her eyes fall on the bulletin board by his door. Hanging upon this board is an appropriately placed class schedule and a random-ass key. Examination shows that the schedule had a lecture underlined for that specific day for some reason. In reality, it's just the movie saying, here's where you're supposed to go next. But from within the story, why Holt had that specific lecture for that specific day underlined is, well, it's quite the coincidence, I must say. How fortuitous for Julia that he did so. Oh, this looks like something I'll probably need for a future scene. I'll take it with me.
Looks like we found a clue, Scoob.
Yeah, why? Why would you take that?
I like this.
Yeah. But no time to think about that because we're off to our next stop on our whimsical adventure, namely Leonard's lecture hall.
He's a cool college professor.
Because he sits on his desk.
Yeah, he sits down.
That's how you know he's cool.
Yeah, he talks genuine. He says the word sex to his students.
Cool. Loser.
Okay. Look at that stupid bitch standing.
Leaving. Suck.
Class is over now because of you.
We're briefly reintroduced to Bro 1 and Bro 2, but since the writers don't actually have anything left for them to do at this point, they instead decided to be overly hostile at Julia for no reason, so she won't have any reason to pursue them any further. Julia approaches Leonard and inquires to Holt's whereabouts, wherein Leonard very obviously lies about not knowing where he is.
I had no idea about the guy, but I recognize that you're weird and don't belong here 4 seconds earlier.
It's not uncommon for a new student to find something or someone that's more interesting to them than class.
Hey, stranger, your boyfriend's cheating on you.
I mean, she should. I mean, that should be her conclusion because there's a Julia all over his phone.
You're concerned
he's
for your
fucking
boyfriend.
around.
I want to look for him. Fucking move on, you creepy bitch.
You're looking for someone? Well, they're probably fucking somebody else.
You know what? They're
Instead of
probably
any other
or
thing.
they found something more interesting than you, you stupid bitch.
But of course, since this movie is basically becoming a guided scavenger hunt at this point, this is but the latest carrot on a stick for our daring heroine. And doubly, of course, Leonard assumes that his quick thinking and clever comebacks will completely deter Julia from pursuing him any further whatsoever. Out of sight, out of mind, as they say, and there's no need for him to expect any kind of follow-up from her whatsoever. Oh, wow. Wow. Goddamn, Julia. Wow, wow. What a stroke of luck, huh?
Oh, cool. Oh, neat.
Yeah. It had a mission symbol above it, so she knew she had to grab it.
There was a prompt.
Yes.
You're telling me she has the key for that?
He's a weird college professor. He must know more than he's letting on. Oh my god, no fucking way.
Why would he have this?
Fuck.
Why does a boyfriend have a fucking elevator key?
It's a good thing that
Exactly.
she grabbed it.
Good thing I picked this up.
I am fucking speechless.
This must be what.
Damn.
This what the fuck? This
An
must be.
elevator key to go to floor
Why?
7.
Oh my god, it's a random
That's the
television.
videotape.
That's pretty impressive, I must say. Julia didn't strike me as the clairvoyant type. I guess she just had a feeling that this random-ass key that's barely distinguishable from any of the other knickknacks in Holt's room was going to be something she'd need later. Because naturally, if you're looking for someone, you should take all of the keys out of their room. That way you're preventing them from accessing the places that those keys unlock, which effectively narrows down the places that they could be at. Truly a genius move on her part, really. No, but seriously, what the hell are you people doing? Are you actually trying to pass this off to your audience? I'm curious how exactly you wrote that into the script and weren't embarrassed enough in yourselves to never let it see the light of day. You've already just laid out a neon glowing jelly bean trail for Julia to follow, but now you have to subliminally incur her to pick up mission items. And all of this to begin with is probably just because you guys realize that you should lock up the area that Leonard is holding his Ring fan club meetings in. Because obviously if you're holding it on the goddamn college campus, any random moron who isn't wearing the proper cult robes could just go to the 7th floor and be like, oh my god, what the hell is this? But I'm getting ahead of myself. Don't worry though, we can properly unwrap this gift box of derangement in just a moment here. So Julia heads up to the 7th floor where she is greeted by a video camera live recording her arrival on a TV that's also displayed before her. I don't know why this is here. I don't know what it's for. It never comes up again. Also not sure why Leonard has Samara report papers sitting there as well. You'd think that'd be something he'd want to keep in his secret ghost research lab, but I suppose not. This, however, is merely the precursor for what's actually going on. And as we find out shortly after, good old Leonard is actually completely out of his goddamn mind. And it isn't in the good way. For you see, Leonard here, after watching the death tape, apparently spent the 20 seconds of necessary research to find out what he needed to do to get rid of her. But in true hipster college professor style, he decided that making a copy of the tape wasn't good enough for him. Oh no. He had to do something exceptionally stupid afterwards. And so he converted it to a digital copy, rented out the 7th floor of this random-ass college building, and then proceeded to show it off to multiple of his students over the course of however long, creating a secret research group that apparently just watches it over and over again. All the while, he tracks what happens to them over the course of the 7 days before bringing in a new student who's referred to as a tail. The tail then watches the original person's copy, thus saving them at the last second, wherein the process repeats again. Oh, goddamn, this is gonna take me a minute. You're a real special kind of stupid, aren't you, Leonard? What the hell are you doing?
He's doing some weird experiments with the tape to study the afterlife? Is that what I'm supposed to be getting?
Essentially, it's basically what he's doing. But like, okay, so
what a fucking dumbass idea.
Yes.
Like I'm just talking. Okay, you have this tape. You watch it. It kills people, and you're just thinking, I'll use children and experiment on them. Like, what the fuck? What makes you think that's a smart, safe? What are you doing, Leonard?
This is ignoring the ramifications that you're putting a whole bunch of your students' lives in jeopardy for basically no reason. What otherworldly force could have possibly possessed you to make you think that taking the video off of a VHS tape was a good idea? Not only have you made it so Samara can more easily kill people again because you actually just upgraded her, you have put her on multiple computers that are connected to the internet. Where do you think this ends? You are teetering so finely upon the line of I got a couple of my students killed to I have endangered the lives of the almost 4 billion people that currently have access to the internet. You are not only depending on the hope that one of these morons aren't just going to upload it, but you are also depending on Samara not just doing it herself. Because she's a demon, Leonard. A demon that cursed a VHS. What do you think she's gonna do when she finds out what Wi-Fi is? Why are you even doing this to begin with?
We could prove the existence of a soul.
What? What the hell are you talking about? You aren't doing anything to prove that. You're watching a death tape over and over again. You aren't even changing it up. Watch video. Spooky stuff happens for a week. Make copy of video. Show someone else video. Rinse and repeat. Oh my god, the photo of the 20th person I've shown the video to is also blurry. And look at this crap. There are so many people in here. What are any of them even doing? All you're doing is propagating this thing so that it's a problem again. Because apparently, not at any point did you stop and think to yourself, once the semester is over, I'm going to have a whole bunch of students with death countdowns on my hands. Good thing none of them seem to actually care for some reason, nor do any of the ones I keep bringing in on it, since I need a constant stream of uncursed people to save the last batch. I wonder when any of the school faculty are going to start questioning what I'm doing here. What's more about this is this isn't even a new idea. The writers are trying to pass this off as, oh yes, we adapted the events of Spiral in a very inventive and modern way to bring Samara into the 21st century, when all they did was rip off a short film from The Ring 2's DVD extras. Oh yes, dear viewer, some of you may not actually know this, but in addition to the fact that The Ring 2 exists, there was in fact a short 15-minute featurette included on the DVD meant to prelude into it. Take a guess on what it was called.
Document everything you see.
The short follows the events of a kid named Jake as he asks to be a part of a group of other teenagers calling themselves Rings. The group, taking the metaphor very seriously, have themselves set up in a waiting line. Each person in the group watches the tape for the other once it becomes too much for them to bear. All the while, they document the hauntings that take place and try to get themselves as close to the 7 days as possible before making a copy for the next person. However, it doesn't take long for things to get a little spicy and Jake realizes, oh yeah, I could actually die here. It is insane how much more engaging and interesting this 15-minute short is compared to basically everything in this movie. The contrast is that we're following a bunch of thrill seekers that are basically playing with a fire they still don't understand, and then here it's idiot college professor who does know what's going on and decides he's going to try and screw with it and give it internet access, all the while claiming that he's studying it despite doing absolutely nothing to indicate that he is.
Hey, if you didn't play it and you just skimmed through it, do you think it would work?
I don't know. Do you think it would still work if you only watched half of the video?
I don't know. I have no idea. Has anyone ever just watched half the video?
Like, these are the experiments that Leonard should be doing.
Right? Like if morality is not a problem for you, then... man, you have some stuff to do.
Man, yeah. Just make somebody...
I'm gonna prove a soul with this videotape of an evil soul.
Oh my god. Oh man, if this was actually like a good movie, like imagine all of the screwed up things that Leonard could be doing.
Oh, you could do such evil machinations.
Man, just like I'm gonna have you watch this video, and then I'm going to lock you up in an area that doesn't have access to a television. I'm just gonna watch and see what happens.
Watch you go absolutely crazy.
As Julia is walking through the acid lounge, she spots Leonard and Sky arguing with each other. Being the only named characters in the room, I suppose you'll stick out. Sky is clearly distressed, yelling at Leonard about all the exposition that the audience needs at the moment. Mainly it's just bringing up Holt's name, so Julia has a reason to listen in on the conversation, as well as a couple vague statements about how Samara is changing. We'll get into that stupidity later, don't worry. Sky brings up that she doesn't have a tail anymore, and Leonard assures her that he'll find her a new one. He tells her to head back to her room, and he'll send someone over to watch the tape for her. This doesn't seem to calm Sky down at all, however, and as we find out immediately after, there's a reason for that.
Wow! What a fucking legend! Oh!
You only have 27 minutes left? You waited until you only had 27 goddamn minutes left? What the fuck? What is wrong with you, Sky? Gabriel said he'd get me a tail. I don't care. You have 27 minutes left. You put your life in the hands of a Big Bang Theory character, and now you're surprised that it didn't work out? My God, if Leonard didn't have somebody in front of my copy by day goddamn 3, I'd be double middle fingers out the door and scouring the streets for volunteers.
I often waited to turn in essays until the last night. I mean, to write them until the last night.
I mean,
she's a typical college student. So nonchalant about even life. Oh, I'll take care of it tomorrow. Like a typical college student.
I guess, man.
You're
Yeah.
dead.
Yes, yeah.
No, I don't deserve this. This isn't fair. Because nobody did it for her.
And no, you can't tell me that they need to go the full 7 days for the sake of the experiment. As my previous criticism stands, Samara does the exact same crap every single time. Just because she occasionally does it in a different order doesn't then mean, oh my God, she's changing. Leonard would know by test 3. Okay, I'm not actually learning anything new from this. I need to mix it up a little bit. Hold on, let me go to any given ring message board from the last 15 years that are all packed to the rim with questions on how the curse works and different ideas on experiments I could do with it. So the real question is can you watch it up to the last like 2 seconds and then stop it and be fine?
And be like, this is boring, and just pause it. Like, I'm done.
Unplug,
Like a
unplug
boring
the
ass
VCR. Yeah, what the fuck was that? That was shit. There's like no
What
story.
if you're watching it and playing games on your phone at the same time?
So you weren't really
What if
Oh,
you're
yeah,
like
what if-
distracted?
Yeah, what if you have it playing the whole thing? You let it play, but you're not actually looking at it. Yeah.
What if you're blind?
Yo. Now we're talking.
These are the important questions.
We're
okay?
asking the real questions. We're thinking about this more than the writers did. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah. It's like they ask the creators these questions, they're just like, oh.
No, they'd still be dead because it's magic.
Is there like a braille version where like they like put their fingers across it and they're like, oh my God, cursed.
So it's just like, but the girl is just like beckoning them to come closer to the TV so they can touch it and feel the braille.
Also, what the hell is your problem, Leonard? You have 27 minutes left, so go back to your apartment and sit there by yourself, and I'll send someone over to watch it for you. What kind of stupid-ass idea is that? It's not, oh crap, you have 27 minutes left. Stay right the hell here, and I'm gonna go look for somebody to watch it for you right now. It's, hey now, calm down, Sky. I've only inflicted a death curse on you. Why don't you go run along and go play Tetris on your phone or whatever you young people do, and Daddy Leonard will handle everything. But anyway, as Sky is going out to her car, Julia follows her and confronts her about Holt.
Where's Holt? I can help you, but I need to show you something first.
There you go, Sky. Finally listening to the old survival instinct, huh? Good on you. Good thing that you're also right outside of a building where you can queue up your copy of the tape immediately, since, you know, you have 27 minutes left.
You live here? Yeah, fine arts, grad program.
You took her back to your apartment. Sky? What are you doing? Why didn't you just go back into the... You haven't made a copy of the tape yet? You've had a week! Why didn't you have that crap queued up and ready to go on your phone? You've been out here losing your goddamn marbles and yelling at Leonard about all this, and you haven't even clicked copy and paste on the file yet? Dear God, you are a college student, aren't you?
She didn't have the forethought to do it fucking 6 days prior.
Right.
She's not
It's
going
like,
into this shit.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
she's
yeah.
doing this as efficiently and lazily as possible. Think of this college chick as like an Asmongold.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
how do I get a C? This is how you get a C.
Yeah.
Or fail tremendously.
Also, Sky, did you just lock the door from the inside? You have a deadbolt installed on the inside of your door. Do you ever think that that might be a touch counterproductive for the overall function of a lock? Oh well, you do you, I suppose. Julia proceeds to wander around looking at all the insane crap around the apartment, of which includes a random-ass framed portrait of Holt that's partially covered. Not exactly sure what it's for, but I guess it adds to the spooky.
Nice.
It kind of looks like a ring. It's not on the nose at all.
It's like these paintings are in like a circular motion. They remind me of something. What's with the droopy faces as well?
When you're cursed, your pictures get all distorty for some reason.
Oh, that's really scary.
Yes, it is. Yes, terrifying. While all this is going on, Sky still hasn't copied the video yet. However, we do hear her typing in the background. So I guess she's just checking Twitter real quick. After looking at the clock and seeing how much time she has left, she starts typing faster, so at least she still has her priorities in order. Either that, or we can attribute it to the theory that she has 7 hard drives connected to this computer, and she can't remember which one the video's on. It's not like it's right on the desktop or anything as the first goddamn thing that stares her in the face when she boots it up. Or, maybe it's the 2,000 character password you have on your login screen. How the hell is this taking you so long, Sky? What are you doing? I have to help my mom when she wants to move files between folders, and she could still get this done faster than you. And in the time it takes you to do all this, Julia has finished her exploration of your meth lab and has now picked up your phone to find a text from Holt on it. What? Okay. So, why exactly does he have a new phone number? You mean to tell me that the only reason he wasn't responding to Sky or Julia was because he dropped his phone under his bed and forgot about it? You resorted to buying a new phone instead of just having somebody call you until you found where the vibrations were coming from? Cool, man. I'm sure this will all be explained shortly. Can't wait to hear all about where you've been all this time. Also, goddamn, you are in trouble, my man. Texting the crazy college bitch your new phone number before you text it to your girlfriend. If it weren't for the fact that Julia is nice and charitable person 2.0, this scene would realistically end with her leaving Sky to her death out of pure spitefulness. And we certainly wouldn't be having happy, cuddly Orpheus story time for a little while after. Of course, Holt, being the powerhouse of critical thinking he is, texted Sky at this particular moment when she is mere minutes away from her time being up. Time that he would be aware of, since Leonard has them paired up for the assignment for whatever reason. And their clocks are sitting literally right next to each other in the death cult meetings, asking her if her tail came through, as if he can do anything about it at this point. Shame he had absolutely no other way he could check in on her earlier, but I suppose we need to take into account that Julia's here now. So the fabric of time and space can be twisted and bent off screen so that he would finally send a text at the exact moment that she was looking down at the desk, along with a "don't watch" text immediately after Sky says,
I want you to watch something and then you'll understand.
Damn, that worked out perfectly, didn't it? If only Sky didn't have to hack into the Pentagon servers to get her copy of the tape. So after the ensuing yelling match, Julia locks herself in the bathroom, and as Sky is banging on the door yelling at her, we hear that oh-so-familiar Ring video sound.
I think there was a more subtle way to have her watch the video, like, hey, come here, I want to show you this.
Right.
Not, you have to fucking watch this fucking video or I promise it won't hurt.
She has had a whole goddamn week to make a copy of this stupid ass video and show it to somebody.
Oh, so she's looking at the time because she's about to die now.
Yeah. She's had a whole...
Now she's deciding to share it.
Yes.
Fuck me. You deserve to die, you moron.
Initially, Sky's strategy isn't the worst of ones. Upon seeing the well flickering on her laptop screen, she opts to break the thing. A bold move, but not an unwarranted one. Accessing the tape is kind of out of the question now, but given the circumstances, destroying the entry point isn't what I'd call a bad idea. It's something that nobody ever tries for some reason. The typical routine usually ends up being, oh no, turning it off didn't work. Oh no, unplugging it didn't work. Oh god! It's kind of nice to see someone trying something new for once. What's more, it even kind of looked like it worked. From what we can see, the laptop breaks and Samara doesn't use it again. Which is why I'm floored that you didn't try the same thing with the TV you left in the apartment for some brain-dead reason. Why did you throw a sheet over it? What did you think that was going to do? All of you people know that this ghost operates through TVs and monitors. Why would you have anything even remotely like that close to you if you knew you were going to be cutting it this close? Yep, there you go. Unplug it. Standard procedure now, I see. Oh no, it didn't work. You've had a week to do this, Sky. That TV has been sitting there in your apartment for a whole week, staring you in the face, with you being fully aware that it is a portal to Samara's hell dimension. And your precautionary measure to protect yourself from it was to throw a bedsheet over it. You might as well have just put fly paper in front of it. Sky! Sky! It's a modern TV! Do you realize how fragile these things are? Just start beating the screen with something. Start throwing crap at it. You aren't even panicking in a way that makes sense.
Oh, use your cool little talon that you have on your necklace. That'll save you.
Go get your amethyst crystals to ward off the negativity. Yeah. How have none of you idiots come up with any kind of contingent plan in case you can't get a tail? You know, that thing that's inevitably going to happen with one of you. Contingent plans such as, don't have TVs in your room. Or even just, oh my god, there's a ghost crawling out of my TV. I'm going to leave the room. It's not like you morons are pressed for time. You know what this is. You know what she's going to do. Why have none of you tried to think of a backup plan for when this happens? Even if it's not a permanent solution, why isn't there anything to even try beyond, uh-oh, the bedsheet didn't work? Did you try unplugging it?
All these people, it's wrong and she's pissed.
You're being ridiculous.
I can feel her. It's all changing.
No, nothing's different. Samara has no reason to be angry. Leonard just set up an execution line for her because he has actually put zero thought into this. There isn't even a plan B if someone's tail doesn't make it in time. Samara would be a giddy little schoolgirl in the candy shop saying to herself, wow, this idiot just gave me internet access and he's showing my tape to a whole bunch of people. That's great. So Samara finally crawls out of the TV that Sky stopped trying to break, and we get our full-on recreation from the ending of the first movie, complete with the teleport skip that we got last time.
That looks...
Yeah, it looks stupid.
Not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's better than I
you-
could do, I guess. I'll
Bitch,
say
you
that.
got the floor wet.
Was the first ring good?
The first ring was okay. It had some problems, but it was alright. It was alright.
It wasn't this.
It wasn't this. And as Sky backs away from this demon in absolute horror, reflecting on the fact that both her and Leonard are idiots, as well as the fact that her bedsheet didn't stop it from getting out of the TV, I can only hope that as Samara raises her head up and commits to the kill shot, that Sky's final thoughts on the situation before being engulfed by the darkness was, damn, I had a week to do something about this. Julia, meanwhile, is listening to all this unfold, and after everything quiets down, we get a nifty little jump scare from Samara to inform her that she can come out now.
Now why is she coming after her? She didn't watch the whole video.
Yeah, screw you, Samara. I haven't watched your
Yeah,
dumbass
fuck
video.
off. I got a week, bitch. Leave me alone.
Yeah, whatever, Samara.
Did she insta see the video?
Hey,
You saw her placing the basilisk. And now you have 7 days to pass it on again.
It's like, oh, you saw a frame, 7 days.
Yep. Oh, cheater.
Julia rushes out and tries to leave, but as you may remember, it's currently locked, because Sky apparently wanted people to be able to unlock her door from the outside. So now Julia has to go get a key off of her body, which of course leads up to our "oh no, her face is scary" looking jump scare.
Sorry, where was the tension? Where was the tension there? That she was dead, or was she gonna come back to life and like beat her up? What were we afraid? What were we supposed to be afraid of?
So yes, for those wondering, the only reason that Sky has inverted locks on her door was so we could get another one of those. I'm giving that one to the movie because the alternative is they wanted to have the "gasp, she locked me in" cliche, but the writers realized it wouldn't work because they're both inside a residence.
What was she trying to get off that woman?
The key.
No, really?
Yeah, to get out of the
I thought
house.
you guys were kidding about that. I was like, yeah, that
Oh,
sure would be stupid.
Yeah, it would be.
And it's actually in the fucking film.
Yeah,
God
the
damn.
lock on that side of the door.
Why?
What happened? What happened?
Where the hell have you been? Okay, so Holt's just back now, so I bet you can't wait to find out what he's been up to this whole time.
Hey, babe, have you seen my shirt?
He's still topless.
Completely vanished off the face of the earth to where Leonard and Sky didn't even know where he was, all for the sake of being the inciting incident that brings the main character in on the story. What thrilling tales he must have waiting for us. Can't wait to hear him. We cut to a hotel room where we see Holt on the phone with Leonard. When asked about Sky, Leonard tells him that he knows because someone posted a picture of her online, and as a result of such, people are dropping out of the Death Club. Oh, don't you worry. We're dissecting that dribble. So apparently, the movie is now telling us that some moron took a picture of Sky's corpse and then uploaded it. Might I inquire how the hell that's possible? How could that scenario have even possibly arisen, unless you're telling me that this dork did it? In which case, might I offer you the food of thought that is, you're telling me that Julia and Holt just let this guy into the apartment after what just happened.
I was supposed to watch a video.
All right, come on in.
All right, come on. I got it loaded up. Ignore the dead body.
I was gonna say, have a seat. Let me just move her. And then they have them sit
Yeah,
in
just
the chair.
Sorry about the leakage. We had the TV was leaking. Sorry about the spillage. And ignore the dead body sitting down.
Let me just set the TV back up. Hold on. All right.
Yeah, people are starting to leave the club now.
I would have shown you on my laptop, but that stupid bitch who's dead right now, like, broke it. She threw it on the ground. Just give us a second to mop up the floor and put the TV back up.
And now people are dropping out. Seriously, you people are just now starting to figure out that this was a bad idea. And oh yeah, we can't all depend on some random college professor to keep finding us more people to shove this curse off onto.
Wait, do I still have a tail?
What do you mean, do I still have a tail? Holt, you had a tail served to you on a golden goddamn platter. He even brought his laptop with him. You mean to tell me that you just said to this moron, "Nah, bro, you good, no videos to watch today," when you have less than a day left? What is wrong with you people? How can you all so consistently keep making the absolute worst decisions that you could possibly make?
I'm gonna find you someone, I promise you that. Just stay where you are.
Yeah, Holt, stay where you are. In that hotel room that has a TV in it. But now that all that is out of the way, we can finally catch Julia up on how the ring tape works. We get our nice little exposition scene where they discuss Leonard's stupid ideas and another overview of how Samara works for the couple people in the audience that still aren't getting it.
I'm really sorry that you had to see that.
I only slept with her once.
I think we can pretty safely skim over it, however, as there is no new information to process.
So we're supposed to pass on a death sentence to someone else?
Yes.
Go make a fucking hobo watch that tape and just relax.
I'll give you some spare change if you come in here and watch this video real quick.
Have this, here's this bottle of vodka. Let's watch a tape together. And then you can go on with your day. You can keep the bottle. And here's some extra cash for you. You'll be like, oh, okay, sounds good to me. and the world's a better place.
I just typed into Google "wet girls with long black hair," and this is what I got.
I wasn't really into the dead cows and the girl combing her hair, but hey, I made the most of it.
I only have 12 hours. Well, better go to sleep for the night now. Get a full 8 hours.
I need to be fully rested so I can assess the situation.
Do a couple rubes in the morning.
I can't think on a restless mind.
At this point, though, I can finally tell you about the scene that we all already knew was coming. Julia decides to watch Holt's copy of the video, because, you know, undying love and all that.
He showed her clicking go to full screen.
Yeah, they didn't want to leave out any, you know, continuity errors.
The important bit to take note of is that Julia's cursed now, and the phone burns a very obvious pattern of bumps on her hand. Can't wait to see how long it takes our team of junior researchers to pick up on that.
I mean, we've got 7 days. You got plenty of time.
I really wanted to sleep for like 6.5 days once. I feel like now's the perfect time.
If we sleep for 6 days and 12 hours, that'll give us 12 hours to figure out what to do. I mean, you could do so much in 12 hours. It's fine.
What does Samara do if you don't have a phone, by the way? Can't call you. She's gonna show up in 7 days anyway. Like, oh, well, he's not fun. Well, I guess he's gonna be a real surprise for him.
Yeah, right. And as if right on cue, Holt gets a call from Leonard informing him that he found someone to watch the video for him. So what a stroke of luck, huh? In a realistic scenario, how this would go is Julia and Holt would drive to Leonard right now, copy the video, make whatever loser watch it, turn to Leonard and say, "Fuck you," and then leave and go home. Needless to say, this isn't actually what happens. But we're off to a good start because they're actually heading over now.
You know why I wasn't answering your calls, right?
It was to protect you.
It was to protect you from this.
Uh-huh. What a unique through line, Holt. What movie were you thinking of when you said that? So your plan to protect your girlfriend from the cursed death video was to completely cut off all contact with her. Rather than acting like everything was normal and just telling her you'd be unavailable for a week, you decided to make it look like you just died. That is the plan you went with that you figured would be the most effective at keeping her from seeing the video. Am I also right in assuming that this is the closest we're going to get to an explanation on where the hell you were earlier? The "I was trying to protect you" cliche. You people actually just pulled the inciting incident out of nothing, and now you're going to sweep it under the rug with a throwaway line. I was trying to protect you, so I went into full-on hiding from literally everybody, including the people that know what's going on and have the capacity to reach out to you if they suspect something happened to me. Also, you're wrong anyway. You weren't avoiding her calls to protect her. You just dropped your phone and decided not to look for it. Nice save, though. Also, Holt, did you bother to warn your girlfriend that being cursed by Samara involves violent hallucinations that perpetuate constantly through the week?
Our two heroes are driving. It's pouring rain. She's starting to hallucinate. And a bird hits the windshield of their car. And she screams bloody murder, and which causes her boyfriend to slam on the brakes and skid to a stop.
A bird in the fucking pouring down rain.
There was a bird.
Then it got more interesting where she goes back to where they hit the bird on foot. She runs back there and walks right out into the street, and she's just thinking about this bird and not about possibilities of oncoming traffic.
Was it a fucking duck? What kind of fucking bird is out there in the pouring fucking rain?
Oh, it's what you saw in the tape.
Who cares anyway? You hit a bird, just keep going.
Lo and behold, a big truck is barreling down the road.
What? That truck wasn't there!
Julia!
That truck appeared out of nowhere.
She didn't even look both ways.
It was one of those stealth trucks.
They showed the road.
I saw the bird.
To make that look super scary, just took a lot of coordination. A lot of good people really focused on doing their job. It turned out really well.
the bird was there, that the bird is not there.
Babe, you really gotta stop getting out of the car and looking at roadkill.
Oh, boy.
I like to watch it die.
Do you think this bird could watch the video?
Do you think this bird could be my tail?
Yeah, I didn't think so.
So are you telling me that Samara was trying to use the curse to kill her right there?
I don't know.
That's not fair.
I mean, I don't think that was intended. I think that was just her being a moron, because I don't think Samara was going to assume that she was going to go walk up and try and touch the dead bird hallucination.
That's where even Samara was like, damn, this bitch is stupid. I was just fucking with her, but she almost fucking cheated me out of my kill.
Our intrepid heroes arrive at Leonard shortly thereafter, wherein they proceed to low IQ summarize the events of the night to each other, starting off with a reminder for us that Julia is nice and Leonard is mean.
I had dismissed self-sacrifice as popular myth.
Holt was running out of time. It was the only way to save him. Anyone would have done it.
You know, I could show you some research that would suggest the opposite.
Is there perhaps a larger picture we should be looking at right now, guys? You know, like the Onryo that's killing people that you just unleashed onto the world. Let's get that tail into the room so we can move things along, shall we?
No one is dying because of me.
Okay. No, I changed my mind. I'm just gonna wait and die. I guess we'll just drive back now, babe. Please refrain from screaming too loudly at all the animals you're gonna see us plowing through on the way back.
Yo, just go show somebody the video, and you don't have to deal with this shit.
Yeah, no, it's such an easy problem to fix.
Like, oh, but that's morally wrong. Like, go show it to a bad guy. Go show it to a bad person.
Ultimately, Holt ends up convincing her to make a copy at the very least, and as she walks over and does the deed, we're shown this error message.
Her version won't copy.
Well, of course it won't, Leonard. We still have an hour to get through. We needed an obstacle to pop up somewhere. Sure is too bad that right-clicking and hitting copy is the only way you can duplicate a video file, huh?
Oh.
She had to have been able to have... Like, I know this is like, oh, it won't let you make a copy of the videos. It's like, okay, fine. Open the video up. Take a video on your phone of the video on the computer. It's like, would that work? I don't see why that wouldn't work. It's a copy of the video.
Even if you didn't, you know what else you can do? You know what else you can do? First of all, the computer would say, oh, you can't copy it for no reason. Doesn't make any sense. I'll just use a screen recorder and screen record it and make a new one. Fuck you, Samara. Yeah, I know more about technology than you do because I'm not a child. You stupid bitch. And now I'm going to email this to a random email I found on the internet that some boomer put up. Send it to them. They'll open it because they're retarded, and I get to be alive.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Upon investigating the issue, Leonard finds that Julia's copy is larger than the original. He scrubs through the video until he comes across a frame that shows the bird that she hallucinated earlier.
The bird? It's the bird.
Shouldn't be there.
Yeah, she's a demon, Leonard. We've been over this. She's a demon that you've been poking with a stick for an undetermined amount of time. Surprise! She's doing something now that the death cult has dispersed. If nothing else, you should count yourself as lucky that the only thing she's done with the new technology so far is add a couple new frames to her video. Well, I suppose I should be a little bit more accurate, because apparently the movie is trying to say that there's a whole new video in there now. The explanation for this is a vague techno-babble line saying that there's video data condensed in the new frames, and apparently Leonard has the ability to extract that video data from these still images, complete with audio and everything. As they're all gathering around for the viewing, Julia tells Holt not to watch it with her, and Leonard agrees, saying that it's only meant for her. But of course, we need a reminder that these two are a couple, so the filmmakers take the opportunity to try and connect it back to Orpheus. Because obviously, when you're going in to watch a Japanese horror movie adaptation, the first thing you expect and yearn for is two 30-something actors pretending to be people in their late teens discussing how they'd bring the moon to each other.
I know you're upset that I watched it, but we can't let it be for nothing.
What?
So don't look back, okay?
Stupid.
Wouldn't it be great if he just immediately looks back and just instantly dies?
I hope he looks back, watches the video. and gets jacked by her. I really hope so.
Man, that'd be so funny.
Should I take off my shirt? It seems appropriate.
O light of my life, how could I let you enter the realms of the underworld without me by your side? Dear heart, let the sacrifice not be in vain. We will meet once again on the other side, and nothing shall tear us asunder. My love for you grows brighter with each passing day, for you are my heart. I shan't let you embark on this journey alone. Don't look back, my love, for the first step has already been taken, and I must face this evil with you not by my side, but held close in my heart. I dare not think of a world where I allowed such darkness to consume you. So, yeah, he agrees not to watch it and turns around.
Dude, like, you didn't just watch on that on Leonard's monitor.
Julia is instead tasked with describing it, and with such proceeds to do the most horrible job at accomplishing that.
A clock. A cross. In a flood.
That's all you see there? Are you an idiot?
A girl.
Bravo, Julia. You got 3 descriptions in and gave up. Paired with the fact that you sound like you're reading cue cards off screen. This can't be that difficult.
Let's see, so it's a ring. Dark ring. Oh, scary. Yeah, dark ring. There's a campfire. Graveyard that's flooded. Mirror. Empty birdcage. Ants in a cross. Snake's eating itself. Ouroboros. So this is real symbolism or something. There's a box. There's a dead baby in the box. There's retards on the screen. Door in the woods. Hey, look, ants crawling on a dead body.
I know the intention of this scene is that Julia is getting lost in the feelings of it all, but the movie does absolutely nothing to try and portray that to us. I'm not sure if this is because the filmmakers just wanted to play the new tape uninterrupted with minimal focus on the characters, but in the end, the only indication we got that the tape affected Julia in any significant way is a throwaway line of, "It felt weird."
Only images, but I can't explain how it felt.
There were so many, like, crucifix and cross shots in there. I thought it was directed by Zack Snyder.
I think you'll be finding that this is a very common reoccurrence in this movie. Show Don't Tell has been thoroughly slaughtered, and any significant event and feeling will instead be detailed to us in a multi-drafted and well-rehearsed lecture.
A burning body.
Thank you, Julia. You successfully described 3% of the video. You really must want to go at this solo, huh? Providing the least amount of details to the people who are supposed to be helping you out on something that is clearly insanely important. Thankfully, she described just enough of the video for Leonard to give the throwaway line for the next section of the plot, so the Jelly Bean Trail can live on.
Primitive cultures believe that the only way to free a soul is to burn the body. That is, if you can find it.
Because prior to all of this, Julia was examining some newspaper clippings that Leonard had hung up, of which detailed where Samara's body was taken after the events of the first movie. Needless to say, this means that Leonard knows where her body is, and he just decided not to say anything about it for some reason.
I saw this.
That's where they buried her.
Okay. Way to immediately out yourself on your own contradiction, Leonard. What the hell was that? If only we could find where Samara's body is. Hey, I saw this church in the video. Oh yeah, that's where they buried her. Thank you. I'm glad that you're here to nudge things along, Leonard. Your presence could only be made more valuable if you had your wacky group of friends to provide us with quirky pop culture references. It really is a shame that you are technically the best actor out of everyone else here, but you're also the one I can take the least seriously. The scene ends with Leonard getting a call from the police. Because, yeah, one of his students died, and he's been doing weird crap lately. It's only unbelievable because it didn't happen sooner. Really, it's just an excuse the writers are giving to us on why he's not going with them on their little grave-robbing field trip. Spoiler alert, by the way, this new video we watched is basically just a bunch of future hallucinations or landmarks that Julia is going to be seeing later in the movie. It's all part of Samara's dumbass plan we'll be getting into later. But mainly, it's just to continue feeding Julia the guided safety rails for the rest of the plot. At this time, it's worth noting that we in fact have reached a turning point in this movie. Oh yes, dear viewer, we're moving into brand new territory now. Not to be confused with the idea that things are going to be getting better, but more so that the movie takes a very sudden and bizarre left turn out of nowhere and becomes a completely different story. No longer are we ripping off and rehashing ideas from the 2005 short film. Oh no. Instead, we're going to be completely copying the plot of the first movie again. But we're gonna make it better. And now I find myself with a conundrum. For you see, Slender Man had the problem of Sony cutting out the entire third act of their movie, so I actually just had nothing to criticize. Rings, on the other hand, has the opposite problem. The story is definitely present going forward, but oh my goddamn lord. Julia and Holt go to a place called Sacrament Valley and meet a person running a bed and breakfast. This person gives exposition on a woman called Evelyn who disappeared 30 years ago and then mentions a church in the photo that Julia sees. Julia and Holt then go to the church and meet another person. Other person gives more exposition on the history of the church before mentioning a flood that happened in the cemetery. So Julia and Holt go to the cemetery and they meet a third person. The third person introduces them to the fourth person.
Listen, hey!
And the fourth person gives them more exposition on Samara and how the cemetery flooded when they buried her there, and they had to move her body from the cemetery because it was doing scary stuff, and now it's somewhere else. This is actually how the rest of the movie goes. I can't do this. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sure you'd be riveted to hear me break down every line of dialogue from these morons and how Homer and Marge are just here for the ride, but I can't. And the thing is the exposition is important to the story, and there are things to mention regarding it, because it actually is the story at this point. But it's being droned onto us like it's being read from a school textbook.
This is boring.
Where are they?
Who's the girl in this photo?
The one in the middle there? Why, that's my niece.
Fuck, who are you? Where are we? What?
Could you tell me a little bit more about the church? When did it close?
Been 13 years.
Bro, how is this movie still going? I feel like I've been sitting here for fucking forever, and yet nothing is happening.
I do not exaggerate when I say it is one dialogue piece after another. The only thing is there's an occasional change of scenery and delivery because the filmmakers occasionally remembered they were making a movie. It's like the writers watched the first movie halfway through the initial draft, and one of them said to themselves, Samara's backstory. People like that. Do more of that. Put that one guy from Daredevil in it and make him blind. It'll be ironic and meta. I don't know, make him Samara's father or something. What's that? Oh, the actor is too young to be playing the father of someone who was born in 1970? I don't know. Change the timeline. No one will notice.
She disappeared 30 years ago.
On top of that, they try to make it out like it's a mystery for Holt and Julia to solve. As I said, after arriving at the bed and breakfast, Exposition Dispenser 1 talks about a woman who mysteriously disappeared named Evelyn. The expectation is for us to wonder why this woman was in the new version of the tape when anybody who has seen the second movie immediately knows, it's Samara's mother. I know, I can't hold that as a mark against the movie. Still irritates me though. Especially considering the fact that this movie seems to be somewhat trying to retcon the events of the second film, but at the same time not. In The Ring 2, Evelyn was a crazy person who claimed that Samara was the daughter of a sea demon. She gave birth in a Christian hospital and was there until she tried drowning Samara in a fountain wherein she was stopped by a group of nuns. Samara was then put up for adoption and Evelyn was committed where she remained until Rachel came to her. On the other hand, we have the Rings continuity where she just disappeared, having been kidnapped by pervert priest guy who inevitably impregnated her with Samara. It could be said that the scene where Julia hallucinates Evelyn walking down the road indicates that she escaped from him and this was her going to the nuns. But if that's the case, I find it a little on the surprising side that everybody in this town still thinks she's missing. Evelyn was, what, 8, 9 months pregnant? She couldn't have walked that goddamn far. Nobody noticed her walking out. And also nobody heard about how she tried drowning her daughter at the Catholic school 3 miles down the road. But this is but one expository piece we have before us, dear viewer, because Sacrament Valley is just packed to the rim with people waiting to tell us stories about its history. We've ostensibly stepped into a fictional version of that small retirement town where everybody you approach immediately starts talking to you about their childhood that you don't care about. Oh, that's my daughter in that picture. She used to sing in the choir back when the church was active. Oh yeah, this used to be quite the hoppin' church back in the day. Been close to 15 years since the priest retired after that danged flood. Oh, you know, we buried Samara out in the cemetery a few years back, but heavens to Betsy if God didn't want that girl gone. Flooding our town and projecting images of hell into our minds and all that. Dang if that girl didn't took my eyesight. She was such a devil. Got her buried out in the old potter's field right now. Now, don't you be looking for that Samara girl, y'all. Ain't nothing gonna come for that. Now, don't you be looking for that Samara girl, y'all. Ain't nothing good gonna come from that, let me tell you. I suppose we do get a bit of a break during the graveyard desecration scene. We get a brief scare bit where Julia proceeds to fall for a very obvious trap because for some reason she can't get it into her head that she's prone to hallucinations right now. It's entirely irrelevant to the story, though. It's basically just Samara screwing with her for a minute.
What are you doing?
I agree. Like, what are you doing? What do you think is going to happen?
Dude, I wouldn't be wanting to go in that shit. Even if it had the answers, I'd be like, ugh.
Whole time hallucinating again and freaking out about it.
The acid's kicking again. It comes in waves.
Yeah, another thing I said, screaming incoherently. Is this a woman thing? Like, I'd be like, I can just think like, shit, fuck, I'm gonna die, fuck. No, just,
What happened?
What did you see?
Was it a bird?
Constantly asking her what she saw throughout the entire movie.
Even though he's looking and seeing all the same things.
That's 20 minutes of movie that we just covered, by the way. 20 minutes of history lessons on Sacrament Valley and all the morons who live there. And don't you worry, because there's more coming. Everybody has a story for Julia and Holt in this living hell, and you will be spared from none of it.
And then I went blind.
Oh God! I'm so bored! Somebody help me!
However, in the meantime, we can take a very small break to discuss a scene where something actually happens, namely the spark of sentience that made Leonard realize, I should have looked a little bit closer at that screamingly obvious pattern of bumps Samara put on Julia's hand, huh?
I figured out the mark on Julia's hand. It's Braille. I'm gonna come find you guys.
Fantastic, my man. You decided you were going to call the phone that you already know Holt isn't picking up. Why was that your first idea when you know where they're going and could easily just look up where they're staying? Also, Leonard, you know what the Braille says, and it's not good. You want to maybe bring it up? Why the hell would you say, I know what it means, and then not follow up with it whatsoever unless you were trying to build suspense for a theoretical audience that might be watching you? You're remarkably calm considering the situation. Weird how you didn't open with, oh God, oh crap, Julia, you need to stop pursuing this immediately. Samara's trying to possess you. Oh yeah, she's a homicidal death spirit. Weird how I keep forgetting that. But I guess in the end we have no need to fear because Leonard is on the way to save the day. See how that goes. Oh my God, what the hell was that? All right, so Julie and Holt are driving out of Sacrament Valley and they inevitably come across a roadblock followed by a policeman telling them to turn around. Ahead of them is a fairly nasty-looking car accident. But as the order of turning around is taking place, Julia begins her latest LSD trip and sees Evelyn walking down the road away from them.
Hey, where do you think you're going, sir?
You gonna stop her?
You let her through, but to him he's like, whoa, where the fuck do you think you're going, tough guy?
What do you mean, where do you think I'm going? Are you actually blind? God damn, maybe Evelyn could have gotten to the nuns without anybody noticing. I guess people in this valley just selectively ignore people. While that idiotic exchange is taking place, Julia proceeds to start shouting at the person that she knows isn't actually there until she disappears and notices the second vehicle that was apparently involved in the wreckage. You morons didn't check the car first? What is wrong with you people? Why? Why are you trying to move that truck off of the guardrails? There's a flipped car over there with a person inside of it.
I'm glad anybody checked the man down there.
Wait, no one knew he was there?
That rolled to
It
see
took
if maybe
her
it
to
was
go
it.
do it.
No,
That
was
no one
probably a
checked the car.
self-driving car. You people didn't notice this before?
No, because he can only talk to somebody and not keep situational awareness of his girlfriend in the background who is having a nervous fucking breakdown and hallucinations.
Yes.
And is haunted by something that you know is beyond this life.
Oh my God, how has society not crumbled to pieces yet? Every single person in this universe has the collective IQ of a particularly sharp chicken. So as Leonard is gasping for breath and desperately holding on to Julia's hand, Julia starts saying, "Tell me," repeatedly, indicating that she is aware that something's up with her hand. Who wants to take bets on whether or not she completely forgets about it again after this scene? Suddenly, the reunion is interrupted by a random-ass telephone pole that just collapses out of nowhere, which crushes the car and kills Leonard. So, I don't know what that was. Was that Samara killing him, or just particularly bad luck? Wow, you people really wanted to get Leonard out of this story, didn't you? Flipped his car, had everyone ignore him, and then electrocuted him with a power line. You guys really lost interest in the death cult plot, huh?
He was coming for a reason. He wanted to tell us something.
Yeah, he was very obviously motioning towards the mark on my hand that the blind guy also noticed. Maybe we should look into that.
No, she wanted to tell us something.
Okay. Alright, poof. No more Leonard, guys. Out of sight, out of mind. Off to go join Carter on the bench of irrelevancy for the rest of the movie. Get with the program, Holt. We shouldn't be listening to the warnings everyone's giving us about this evil spirit that keeps killing people. We need to listen to the visions that evil spirit is projecting at me.
Don't do what you're gonna do. You're gonna die. No, he won't.
Yeah. Let's go back to our room, where the TV is. I want to listen to more history lectures about Sacrament and goddamn Valley. And that is exactly what our heroes choose to do.
Man, what a crazy day, huh?
Better get some sleep.
Just the more these people sleep, the more it's like, dude, you're on a fucking time limit.
Look, babe, I gotta leave for another 2 days again unexplained, alright?
Back to the room for a brief regroup before Holt heads down to the family cafe where old country Caroline has more stories about her grandchildren to regale him with.
He's just fucking
a couple hours left. I need some breakfast.
I need to go for a walk, clear my head, get some fresh air.
And then after that, I think I'll go to the spa for a nice
Can't survive
day.
a ghost mauling on an empty stomach.
I need to fucking stop. I need to fucking stop by a 7-Eleven on the way back.
So on the nose, and it doesn't even mean anything. It's just subtext.
Wait, is he actually going to
My God.
to get food? Oh my God,
He is. He is.
At the
Chicken
local
and ribs.
diner. Chicken
Hey,
and
babe,
ribs.
isn't it Free Taco Tuesday? Can we stop?
There you go, Karen. Chicken fried steak and coffee.
So, what is that? Chicken or steak?
You're funny.
No, ma'am, I actually don't know.
Answer the fucking question, you old hag.
Dude strikes me as someone that does know how to use a can opener.
And while this is going on, Julia is busy with the mildly less brain-numbing activity of exploring the church again. After a bit, she begins ripping up the floorboards, and I find myself quietly contemplating that, gee, this sure doesn't look like anything that's ever happened in this franchise. The protagonist ripping up the floorboards to find an important secret underneath it. Damn, you guys really are just cramming the entire first movie into the last hour of this, aren't you? Weird thing is you're not even nostalgia baiting it. You're just amending the old script to fit this one.
She's your daughter!
Too bad you couldn't have made it a well underneath the church, huh? Wouldn't have had to strain the old imagination to come up with the sex dungeon. How much time do we have left? Oh my God.
Oh no.
We have like another half hour.
No. That's the scariest part of this whole movie, which I'm pretty sure is a joke that I probably make every movie we watch.
While down here, we're treated to a couple new jump scares. In addition to that, a plethora of clues are strewn about, many of which were present in the new video.
Better go check that out.
That can
Who's
only be
who's
good
there?
things.
Who's there?
I mean, it could be a bird in there.
It could be
needs
a bird.
It needs set free.
So yeah, it's a woodpecker.
It could be Holt.
It could be Holt. Babe, let me the fuck in.
I don't know how I got it here, babe.
I was talking to the old lady about chicken steak.
She wouldn't tell me if it was chicken or steak.
And now I'm suddenly in this dark room and I can't get out. Babe, I need you to tell me what you saw.
I'm still hungry, though.
In the end, this is mainly just for giving us the revelation that Evelyn is Samara's mother, as well as the fact that the priest was holding her captive under the church all this time. Evelyn almost called Samara Sally, by the way. Nothing important, I just found it funny.
Sarah.
Sarah, yeah.
Because it's not spooky. Samara.
Yeah, Samara sounds spookier, yeah.
Sarah the ghost.
Meanwhile, Holt is having his own little adventure, a stationary one, taking place entirely in front of an old woman eating her dinner. Rings, ladies and gentlemen. Later on, we'll be joining her for General Hospital reruns. She tells him the tale of Evelyn and the circumstances surrounding her disappearance, even though she said earlier in the movie that she didn't want to talk about it, but all of this culminates with the revelation of...
Although he isn't a priest anymore. Not since he went blind.
Hey look, we got our twist in. Hand delivered to us by Grandma Eleanor herself in between bites of green beans. Our friend Galen Burke, the kindly blind guy who won't tell us what's on Julia's hand, is the evil mastermind behind Evelyn's disappearance and Samara's birth. And Julia's on her way over there now, so I'm sure we'll get to hear all about it in excruciating detail.
Who would have thought that in a Ring movie, the biggest threat would be some fat blind guy?
Oh, that is the priest. I needed to look at the picture of the blind man again.
Wait, why did he look at the picture? The woman told him. The woman told him who the priest was.
Party source.
He had to confirm it again.
The great thing is...
Yeah, he had to go verify.
He had to go back to the
Wait a
house.
second, there's another
Let me make
blind
sure.
guy.
We literally got the fucking reveal.
Tell me if it was chicken or steak, so I don't know if I could trust her.
Is wrong with him?
So let me
He already
brain
got
dead.
the reveal and had to go check a picture.
Brain dead moron. He got the reveal from the woman.
You know what I think is this was alternative cuts, and then they're like, you know what, just put them both in.
Put them both in.
I would have much preferred him just to see the picture than to talk about chicken fried steak.
Yeah, because
and go through all that.
But let's take a moment to examine this twist, shall we? I've been kind of neglecting poor Burke here, and it would really be nice to try and make some kind of sense of whatever the hell he's trying to do.
What's that sound?
Cicadas. We're gonna use them for war.
Yeah, we're gonna use the cicadas. I got this guy who trains them. It's crazy.
After going full-on Batman villain and attacking Julia, we briefly shift into the don't breathe portion of this film, during which time more exposition is provided to us, namely this particular line, which is really worth discussing given the information that we just received.
You think that you're the first good Samaritan that she cried out to. You're the 12th, Julia, though none of the others got this far.
God damn, those 11 other people must have really sucked then. Everybody has been handing me this crap since I got here. Including you. You mean to tell me that 11 other people have come to this place, all set on that rescue Samara from her eternal torment questline, and all of these morons who live here are content to provide the exact same stories to all of them? How many times has this poor old woman had her dinner interrupted because some new dumbass came by asking about the disappearance of Evelyn? Also, Burke, you goddamn weirdo, what the hell is your plan? So you kidnapped Evelyn and raped her, which we are now explicitly setting as Samara's origin. Why you decided to make Samara make even less sense is beyond me, but oh well. At least the Sea Devil explanation kind of gave us a hint on why she has demonic superpowers, but now we're just saying she had them out of pure coincidence. Like this movie needed more of those. Also, if you knew it was happening again, For the 12th time. Why the hell did you allow it to perpetuate this long? Why didn't you immediately shut it down as soon as they came here? Especially when you know it puts you in a position where your crimes could be revealed. And if you are going to bring them inside and start telling them about crap, why wouldn't you at least try to throw a misdirection in there? Something that would actually make them leave beyond, oh yes, we buried her in the potter's field to be forgotten by all. Anyway, have fun talking to all the other townsfolk that I know you're probably going to be questioning about this. My machinations shall remain safely concealed from your prying eyes regardless. Samara seems to have burnt an ominous message into your hand. That's new. Oh well, I'm sure that's nothing I need to concern myself with. And man, we're still talking about the 11 other people. I haven't even gotten to your dumbass motivations yet. As we find out later in this scene, Burke apparently has Samara's remains just stuffed inside of his walls. Shockingly, we don't get a 4-minute dialogue piece of why he decided to do that, but thankfully, the human brain is in fact capable of piecing clues together, so allow me to string it all out for you. As you may recall from earlier on, Burke mentioned that Samara blinded him, but the big twist is that he actually blinded himself. This is because he stuffed a corpse in his walls that he knew was doing supernatural crap, and surprise, surprise, it started haunting him. As we know, Samara's end goal is always to murder you, and the way that she does this is by looking you in the eyes and essentially overloading your brain with all the images that she burns into it all at once. Basically, she scares you to death, as it were. So obviously, the solution to this is to blind yourself so that she can't do that. Why is he doing all this, you may be asking? Well, we get this little line to explain that.
You think that you're so close to bringing her peace, but you have no idea the hell that you would unleash.
So dear old pervert priest guy is playing guard duty, basically. He's doing this out of some kind of twisted benevolence because he's holding Samara back. You know, even though she's killing people anyway, but I guess burning her body would make it worse or something. And he somehow also knows this. But yeah, Burke is Samara's self-appointed jail guard. So with that information in mind, what in the absolute goddamn hell are you doing? Nothing you have done since your introduction has made any modicum of sense whatsoever. You're under the impression that you're currently holding the floodgates back for this demonic spirit that could cause untold destruction and misery, and you're treating it like people aren't reading your beware of dog sign. Keep in mind, Julia has not realized any of this. Moral ambiguity does not exist, you see. Burke is simply evil bad guy who's holding his daughter's spirit hostage because he's evil.
You moved her bones and she's still your prisoner.
Look at poor Samara, everyone. Poor Samara, who openly admits that she wants to hurt people while she uses her psychic abilities to burn hellish images into people's minds. Poor Samara, who casually drives animals to suicide because they were annoying her. Poor Samara, who cursed a VHS tape and proceeded to torment and murder anybody who came into contact with it. All information that Julia had access to because Leonard gave it to her so she could recap her backstory to the audience. All of these obvious manipulation tactics that Samara is clearly using right now is because she just wants to be free from torment. No ulterior motives whatsoever. Sure, Julia, it must be a pretty happy place in whatever dumbass gumdrop candy tree world you live in. This little fight scene continues to unfold and ultimately concludes with Holt getting hit over the head because he wasn't paying attention, and Julia getting grappled from behind because she also wasn't paying attention. As they're on the ground with Burke proceeding to strangle her, Julia's phone lights up. And it's important to note that while this scene has been going on, the house has been slowly filling up with cicadas that have been progressively leaking in from different openings and the like. There is actually a reason for this, and as you're about to find out, it's pretty funny. For you see, Samara is currently in the process of projecting herself out of Julia's phone. However, with that comes a little bit of a minor issue that some of you may have already realized. It is in fact not practical for a human to fit themselves through a space as tiny as the average phone screen. So what is a filmmaker to do in a situation like this? Because trying to show this ghost crawling out of a cell phone instead of a TV is going to look goofy as all hell. Not exactly the feeling that we want to go for in our gripping horror flick. I mean, we could always just not have her try and crawl out of a phone. Not sure why we have to do it like this, but we'll work with it. So what can we do to make this look slightly less stupid? Well, let's see. What else is scary that Samara does? Oh, there is the fly nonsense. Yeah, there's usually flies around this stupid thing. So what we'll do, it's pretty genius here, is we'll make it so a bunch of flies cover up the phone screen so you can't actually see what it looks like when she's coming out of it. Oh wait, no, that wouldn't work. Flies are really small. It would still look pretty goofy to have a swarm that big in the house for no reason. What's a slightly larger version of a fly that we could retcon them into? Cicadas, perfect. Yeah, I'm sure those live in the area this movie takes place in. Oh yeah, we did use flies earlier in the movie during the plane scene, didn't we? Perhaps this is a bit more of a blatant and jarring retcon than I originally thought it was. Maybe I should scroll up to the top of the script here and replace the word fly with cicada, so it's slightly less obvious what we're doing. Nah, I'm sure nobody will notice. We'll flash more ring stuff across the screen to distract people.
What are the flies doing?
Oh, they're covering up the phone so it doesn't look stupid when she comes out of it.
Oh. Brilliant.
So as Samara is painfully stuffing herself through the phone screen, Burke undoubtedly hears the cracking bones and turns around demanding to know who's there. This is what happens when he does that. You can do that? Since when? Also, why are you just now doing it if you've been able to do it this whole time? You've been trapped in there for how many years? And all this time you could have just insta-cured Kingpin's blindness and done away with him?
So, did she just need somebody to bring a phone into his house?
Oh dear God, I hope not, because if that's what I'm supposed to assume, then there's actually quite a bit of new crap we have to talk about now. First of all, that would mean that leaving the room would actually work when Samara's coming out of a TV. Apparently, you could indefinitely escape from this idiot so long as you don't get too close to an electronic screen. And if that's actually the case, then you've just lost so many fear factor points, Samara. Trapped inside a blind man's wall for 15 years because you didn't have a TV to come out of. Kayako would have had this idiot killed within the first 25 minutes of her corpse being hidden away in this house. But honestly, we still can't assume that's the case because there's no way in hell you're telling me that this blind idiot has been able to flawlessly avoid technology for the last 15 years. He hasn't even done it in this movie. Remember when Julia and Holt first met him? And they spent 12 hours sitting at his table listening to him talk about crap? Yeah, you think either of them had their phones on them during that? What about these 11 other people that have been stopping by to the occasional ring tourist attraction? I wonder if any of them ever had phones on them. But oh well, all's well that ends well, and our misunderstood hero Samara emerges victorious once again. And Julia and Holt stand over the fire that is engulfing the remains of our little moron. Not the slightest inkling of doubt in their minds that maybe they just flung open Satan's jail cell. And as they reminisce on the good times and all the gracious help they've provided to this murderous psychopath, this exchange of dialogue takes place.
You were never afraid of her.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, Holt.
You're free, Samara.
I'm sure. Let's see what the repercussions of that are, shall we? Because man, oh man, we are in fact at the final scene of the movie. Shall we observe what sweet, caring Samara, who just wanted to be free, is going to do with her newfound freedom? For this last tidbit, we cut back to Holt's place where we see him laying in his bed while Julia is off taking a shower. As Holt is laying there, his eyes fall onto his phone where he sees a missed call and voicemail from Leonard. How this moron has gone this long without seeing it is beyond me, but whatever. He listens to it, which reminds him that, oh yeah, there's a part of the plot we didn't wrap up yet. And so he goes off to grab the scanning of her hand that I guess he just has. Yeah, not sure where you got that crap, Holt. Unless you just grabbed it from Leonard after he died.
He was coming for a reason.
Oh wait, you actually did? Wow, I thought I was done making fun of the Sacrament Valley Baboon Rescue Squad. First of all, Holt, you actually went digging around in Leonard's car with it upside down, crushed by a telephone pole, and surrounded by electrified water. This group of idiots just let you do that. Because if that didn't happen, then the alternative is that they just allowed you to take this bag afterwards. Hey, officer, do you mind if I loot the corpse real quick? Yeah, hold on, let's get the power lines out first. Oh well, that's something that'll never get properly answered. And so begins the translation as he begins inputting the braille online. While all this is happening, Julia is hacking up some hair in the bathroom. Another completely original concept presented to us by the writers here.
Oh, here comes the hairball. Little less grooming, Jewel. A little less.
Oh. Okay. The fuck?
My cat makes these same noises at like 3 a.m. You're like, get the fuck out of here.
My god, it's Samara's hair, I guess. Ow.
Beforehand, she had begun noticing that the scar on her palm was beginning to peel off, and as she picked at it, her skin was revealed to be gray and dead underneath. For those who aren't following, Samara is possessing her. That was her big end-all goal here. I'm not really sure why this makes her more powerful, but I guess it does. If nothing else, it kind of just seems like Samara is stuck in a corporeal body again, which honestly gives her nothing but disadvantages.
You know what that says to me? You can kill her right now. She just made herself a mortal person. That's what that says to me. Unless she's just infinitely superior and ghost-like. So she's like, okay, cool. I get to possess somebody. And then because of that, because I'm a ghost possessing somebody, when you kill me in this body, I get to just come back anyway and do the same thing.
I don't know.
Why does she get to do all this? Like, why is that happening?
I don't know. I don't understand anything of what's happening in this movie, man. If we were still trying to pass off that she was trying to live a normal life, like what they were trying to do in the second movie, then sure, I guess this would make more sense, but that's not what we're doing. Because as we see during all this, while Holt is taking 3 years to figure out what the word on Julia's hand is, out of nowhere, the digital copy of the tape immediately starts getting uploaded and sent off to everyone in Julia's contact list. Oh yeah, that is something I mentioned could happen, huh? Almost like having a murderous ghost on your broadband-connected Macintosh is a terrible, terrible idea. Only took her a week or two to figure out how to attach files to emails. What a shame this couldn't have been foreseen, huh? Also, I love how every single person in Julia's contact list were all at their computers ready and waiting for her to send them something. Almost immediately, as the emails are still going out, Holt begins getting a bunch of responses from people who have apparently already watched it and are now discussing their plans of uploading and forwarding it to more people.
Not the almighty ghost virus. Oh my god, what a freaking video.
I sent it to my diverse buddies.
You're fucking weird. I told you not to talk to me anymore.
Oh no, my diverse friends are gonna die.
So again, all of these people were just sitting at their computers at whatever point of the morning it currently is, staring at their email and ready to set whatever videos they might receive at 4 times speed so they can immediately start writing a response to whoever they got it from. Mind you, not even counting the instantaneous responses we're getting, I'm not even believing that this many people would open it. Like, my god, do you realize how many times I've gotten a DM from someone in my friends list that I never talked to saying, OMG, is that you in this video? You know how many times I've fallen for that dumbass trick? Yeah, I usually get like 3 a year. You mean to tell me that none of these morons have ever gotten one? You mean that all of them immediately clicked on a random unexpected email from one of their contacts that says nothing other than check out this video? But oh well. Curse is out there again, and Samara's actually unstoppable now because some idiot gave her internet access. And there we are. Movie's over. We're left off with the knowledge that nothing anybody did through the course of the movie actually mattered in the slightest. Surprise, Samara is still evil and she's still killing people, starting with our useless protagonists.
I'm gonna fail. Immediately fails. I would fail. Immediately fails.
Yeah, that was a deleted scene, by the way. An extended ending that was available on the physical release. The eventual payoff of the Orpheus story was in a deleted scene. And in a move that shocked absolutely nobody, Holt failed, which gives us our well-deserved conclusion to his character arc. Well, there we are, everyone. Another one down. Thank you so much to everyone who's made it this far, and a big thanks once again to my companions through this piece, Platinum Okami, Gotmittens, Grimpedia, TCAP, and Rickaroo. It's been quite a ride this time around, and this has definitely been one of the funnier movies for me to take a look at, if not one of the more boring ones. Before I fade us into silence once again, I will leave you with these words. This is only the beginning, and it won't stop. I have big plans going forward, so if you feel like sticking around, feel free to give me a subscribe, and I assure you, you'll receive many more of these kinds of videos going forward, and nothing so far has indicated to me that it's going to be any less of an insane ride with what's to come. So with all that being said, thank you for the support once again, and until our paths cross once more, farewell.